Nobody understands me.
It's like being the one Star Trek nerd in a bunch of like Star Wars fans like conventions.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. But all the same, this is Basement Discourse.
That was exciting.
That was so much hype.
I'm Jace. There's Brady over there. And then there's Justin down there.
Apparently.
I don't even know if these are going to be real directions.
I'm not sure either.
You
I
might
don't
be
know where
over
I'm
there.
at anymore, man.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is
Neither do
putting
I.
our chibis wherever you point, because you do it every time you intro. So I just like move them around.
That's sick.
Flawless. But anyway, so I was trolling around Facebook. I'm in a bunch of like random tabletop groups because I need to feel alive again, and I haven't played tabletop in way too fucking
It's
long.
been a minute.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah. Your DMing is just as slow as that cunt's editing.
It's actually not far off.
Anyway.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm trolling around and I see this topic come up, and mostly because I haven't screenshotted, I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but a bloke's asking about a scenario in Cyberpunk where a person who's a Meditech role, they basically have the ability to be like a surgeon. They want to chrome themselves, which is to put on augmentations or transplant themselves. He doesn't go into specifics about what they wanted to do, but that was the general gist of it. And he wanted to know what other GMs would do in that scenario, because there's no real hard and fast rule about that. It basically implies in the rule book that if you want upgrades, you go to a Ripper doc, you let them cut you up and, you know, slap some chrome on you. This player wanted to do it themselves because being a Meditech, you should have a pretty good knowledge of how to do this. And so a lot of GMs in the comments were like, I'd just tell them no. And I was like, I can sort of see where you're coming from, but that feels like a stretch.
Yeah, it kind of feels
like,
shit.
Exactly. Like, if I was in that place, I'd be like, you can do it, but I'm going to make this fucked for you. Like, the longer that you've got to put yourself under anesthetic to do this, the more your hands start to feel kind of numb, and you know,
there's a heap you could do to describe
your vision's blurring.
how difficult that's getting.
Can increase over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The efficacy of the actual transplant itself. So maybe they're intending for it to do A, and then if they don't get it right, then it does B instead, which could be a whole lot of fun.
Well, yeah. So, like, if you're putting in like a new eye implant, right, and it's supposed to improve your, you know, your accuracy by, I don't know, 10 points or something. I don't really know how the implant system works. I haven't looked into that all too much. But if that's what you're looking to do, then, you know, if they do like barely scrape by with what you require of rolls, then it implants, but it's like in a degraded form. So it doesn't work as well as intended.
Yeah. So I was thinking along those lines immediately when it struck me. As you're talking then, I would give them two options. Either the long drawn out one where we're going to roll constantly for like your hands are covered in blood, you're slipping, or like you're getting dizzy or stuff like that. Or we can do this in one roll. And then if the roll's like low, they like put their leg on backwards. Like it's still successful, but it's fucked up.
What if that's the intent though? Like they just want fucking emu knees for fucking running speed. All of a sudden they're the new fucking Blade Runner, which is oddly kind of tangential to the whole Cyberpunk universe.
It sure is. No, yeah, I would do options that to me just a straight up no in that scenario is a bit whack.
The only reason I think that they would be trying to say no is maybe they're trying to get out of paying for it. So like maybe it costs to go to the doc and they don't want to do that part. But
it does. It definitely does cost to go to a doc, but you've still got to pay for your chrome, and like they've still got to pay for all the anesthetics to do it and stuff like that. Like, you know, you could always find ways to make them pay. Like, especially in the instance that you're not doing this like recorded or live, especially not live, you can say, all right, let's take 5, let me have a think about it. Fucking, throw it around your brain pan for a bit and come up with a strategic plan. Like, I always think that saying no to something ruins the one thing that I really fucking love about tabletop, and that is it just has this unlimited freedom.
Yeah.
Like, the first time you dropped us in a dungeon, Justin, I was just like, fuck yes, what can I do? And then I cut a dude's head off with the leg of a chair. And you let me do that. Like, the leg of a chair is not a weapon.
No, but it can be. In the right circumstances.
Exactly. I mean, in the right hands.
Like, and as long as it works within the realms of the world's reality, right? So not necessarily the rules of the world.
That's the one thing that I think a lot of GMs forget. We're not in our reality right now. And a lot of people argue, oh, fucking this dickhead can't jump 15 feet because this, like, oh, like, you're arguing a, like, null and void point because they're in a fantasy world with magic and all the rest of it, so stop trying to think of it.
And they're a different race and, like...
Exactly. Like,
there's just so much.
I think no matter what, when we're talking about GMs ruling over everything, you have to run with the rule of cool. It has to be that first and foremost. You have to say yes, but not no immediately, because no is just an immediate wall, and you're going to build too many of those, and your players are just going to fuck right off, because there's no way anyone's going to hang around for a no game all the time. I think there might be a very, very small minority out there that are 100% happy to run by the 100% legit rules, like fully out of the book rules.
Yeah, and like,
and that's great.
If that's what you're into, cool. You've just got to find a DM that's
also into that,
right there with you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, I guess, right? Is like, when we're playing tabletop, it's all about finding the right group of people. Like, I think at least I've been pretty lucky. Like, all the people that I have played at a table with have all been people that I get along with. We all have a similar sense of, how to follow the rules and how to immerse ourselves within that world, and so on and so forth. But you do kind of have to find the people that match what you're looking for.
You can't have people with different senses of humor trying to come together, like the dark humor versus like lighthearted and sort of more, I don't know, I'm a virgin humor. Like, those things just don't seem to work. Like, they're not going to work together.
Yeah.
What?
You could have gone with like
I get where you're coming from.
That was the weirdest. You couldn't just say like, a more wholesome person or a more purer person versus a more
that was the only thing
disenfranchised
like,
person. You had to go with virgin.
Yeah, virgin is pure. That's about the only thing I can think of as pure. That's it.
Yeah, right. No, so I always think like most things that are possible within that realm should be allowed with varying degrees of difficulty, right? So if you're in a fantasy realm and you want to create the world's first cybernetic leg, that might be a no. But but you could also argue that if the player comes with you with a creative enough way that they're going to be the person to make this happen, you might allow it with massive levels of difficulty. But this is what I mean about within that realm. You're not going to have fireball magic or healing spells in Cyberpunk. But I think you probably have,
like, would be like some way of augmenting it into the suits and whatever. But
yeah. But like, you wouldn't use like arcane magic.
I get what you're saying, like totally different settings and whatnot.
So that's what I mean by within the realm. So when it comes to can they jump 15 feet, I mean, if the player says, "Look, I'm gonna use my sword like a pole vault, and that's how I'm gonna go the extra 5 feet that I'm asking for," then as a GM, like,
that's fucking
go for it. You're leaving your sword behind.
Yeah,
but like.
That's cool as shit. I would just have them roll in acrobatics, and if they roll, say, over like, I guess it depends on how far they're going and what sort of thing they're doing, over X, whatever that roll is, 14, 15, 16 maybe, then they get to keep the sword and it looks cool as shit. And how fucking cool is it when you land something like that? You're like, there was a
Yeah.
little bit of risk there.
Brady
No,
wouldn't
Brady
know.
wouldn't have landed at all. He would have
No, my rolls are all
pole-vaulted his
awful.
chest straight
But
through his sword.
even that is great though. I love that too though, because every time I get those like
Epic
horribly
fails.
low rolls when I have tried the thing, you also make it into like a fun thing.
It's a
Like it's not
memory.
like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try and double backflip and cut someone's head off. You're not like, you just fall on your bum. You're like, okay, so you tried that, you pissed off everybody. It looked spectacular for a second, but then you fell on your face on someone's shoe. Like, you make it work that it's like as epic as it was gonna be, it went bad, so it's gonna go epically bad. Like, you have to
And that's the risk that
balance those two
the
things.
players are willing to take for that reward as well. And I feel like
hopefully.
almost every time there's a good story to tell as soon as someone says yes to some idea like that. You know what I mean?
The moment you guys brought that up, the first thing I thought of was my performance at the
When you dive
performance
off
loop.
the...
When I jumped the railing. Yeah, I go to jump off the railing and I rolled a 1 and just fucking ate
clip
shit.
your
I'm pretty
ankles
sure
and...
it was a 1.
Yeah, it was a
very
low. I don't know if it was a 1. I think
You broke the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fell straight onto the fucking stage. And it's just, fucking... mwah.
Fantastic.
But then you have moments like I was playing Star Wars with Zach, and obviously this was an offline game, and as a Jawa character, so I'm like fucking 3 inches tall, I jumped off a catwalk onto a Mandalorian, and I rolled so high that I managed to get my vibro knife in between his plate armor and just like fucking slide down him with my knife. And like, when you get moments that fucking good, you don't.
It's like
them.
getting a satisfying shot in, say, like for instance, for you, Jace, like a battlefield shot that's just the odds are low, but they're never zero, and you get that shot and you're like, get fucked, get the fuck out of here. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's the risk and reward.
That's
like,
so
it's
much better, as
awesome.
you're saying, than a GM just being like,
It's not going to happen.
no,
Sorry.
you're 3 feet tall.
It'd-
You technically can't jump that
It'd be
far
exactly
at the Mandalorian,
like you
so
aiming
not
in
a fucking
Battlefield
chance.
and you watching your bullet fly towards someone, and then suddenly it hits an invisible wall because your bullet's only meant to travel 2 kilometers and you've shot at 2.1. Like, you know, on target, you could have done it, but the game just hasn't allowed you to do it. And that's exactly what a GM saying no is going to be every time. It's the realm of possibilities are there. Obviously, the player thinks they should be able to do it because that's why they came up with the idea. So fucking play with it. Just have a little bit of a go. Have a think for a second. Give it a moment and like let it play in your mind. How could this play out? What will me saying no do? And what will me saying yes but allow? You know?
Oh, the
Yeah.
exclusion to
Like,
this
I was
though.
actually,
No, you're right, Jace.
yeah. So what I was actually thinking was like, I would probably just let everyone try everything, no matter how absurd it is. It's just, you know, if you want to say, I don't know, in Cyberpunk, for example, I want to just fly, no augmentation, nothing.
I just want a Neo
Sure,
out of
roll
there.
for it. It's an impossible roll, but I'm gonna let you try. I'm gonna let you make a fucking idiot of yourself, but you can try.
That's right.
Like,
even in the realm of
people
reality,
smoking crack
we
try
could try
and
and
fly
fly.
every day.
it's just not going to happen. But if we believe it, then
Yeah.
we're still not. It's not going to happen. But we can still
not-
try.
we're not- It's not Peter Pan. You can't just be like, happy thoughts. I was going to say, though, I think the exception, and it's more of a novice sort of thing. Hopefully, like, experienced players don't do this. But character creation. Trying to dump stuff into your character that makes them so OP the game isn't going to be fun for anyone is totally okay for your GM to say no to. Like, if you're trying to dump in, I'm level 1, but I can cast this like outrageous spell because my grandmother taught me on her deathbed, I don't care. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, you're still starting at level 1.
There's
There,
still
there are
core
reasons to
rules.
maybe include certain things.
I like things at the start for flavor, but only for flavor. Like,
Yeah.
I can do this. Like, if it's something fun, like I can perform a perfect backflip every time due to my time when I ran off to the circus as a child and, you know, grew up with some fucking weird uncle that touched me.
I mean,
He had to
maybe that.
backflip every
I
time.
was
he went
just
to
gonna
grab
keep
his
going
butt.
deeper with it. But, I was like, nah, I'm not going there.
Don't go deeper with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, that shouldn't go
But
deep
you
at
know,
all.
you know what I mean. Like that is fine. Like go for it. Cool. You can do a perfect backflip. Whatever. I don't give a shit. That's not gonna break the game. But when you're like, oh, I can cast Fireball at level 3 at level 1, at like 3rd level because I can, because I survived a fire as a child from my uncle. You know.
Stop.
His uncle's been
Yeah,
up
he's
to
a
lot,
busy
hasn't he?
uncle.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of nephews.
He's got his hands
Lot
in
of
a lot of
nephews.
pies.
Yeah,
I
that's not
wanna
going to
leave.
happen. So, you know, game breaking stuff, it's just obvious that it can't always be a yes. I've said this example before, but I'll say it again. It's the guy who says, I'm going to roll to tell the king to give me his crown. And they go, well, go for it. And then they roll anything, even a nat 20. And the king just goes, I'm not actually going to kill you for asking me that question. You don't get my fucking crown.
Yeah, you can come up with
You
an
know,
alternative
there's alternatives to
solution.
that. Yes,
to
you
the
can
critical
try
success.
it. Still, you can try even that. You're just not going to succeed. As Jace said, there are things that you can just roll for and know that they will never actually succeed. But think of some flavorful way of making them fail at it as well.
Yeah, and that way you're also not introducing your players to a no, and instead you can do whatever you want. But if you ask for something stupid, you are going to get a stupid response in return.
Totally fair.
You try and fly, okay, you run up to the railing and you jump. You've now broken both your ankles. Congratulations. You know, just silly shit like that makes it memorable and flavorful, but you're not inherently roadblocking your own players. Because, like, me personally, I'd walk out on a game that was like, I can understand some no's, that's fine under certain circumstances, and like, you know, whatever, I'm not the DM or GM, so that's fine. But I think, you know, the moment you start railroading your players into you can't do this, you can't do that, that's the moment I'm like, well, why don't I just fucking go home?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
play
If
video
I'm going to
games
play
then?
something linear, I'll go
Fair,
back to Lord
not
of the Rings
much
2
different.
Towers and just run in a straight fucking line. Like, that's it is what it is.
Yeah.
Stop
It's
bringing
so
that
good though. I
game
love
up.
that game.
He does it all the time.
They need to do more with it.
All right. While we're talking about flavor, gentlemen, this week's sponsor. You guys know that I have a very good heat tolerance. I love me some spicy food, but it's gotten a bit too out of control now. Nothing is giving me that joy until I found Bob's Edible Flame. Bob's Edible Flame is fire you can eat. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, they've now got a beard retardant version. I've been chowing down on it. My beard hasn't caught on fire once yet from the food. Lighting it on fire has caught it on fire a few times, but you know.
They have got a warning on the box though that says don't do that and also partake in any oral intercourse. So I will put that warning out there. That is something that has been flagged for us to actually say on the show as well, along with the Edible Flame thing.
Now your uncle's in hospital.
Yeah.
This is the reason my beard sucks so much. I didn't realize they had that product, Jay, so I'll buy it from now on. Beard retardant edible flame.
I'm all for it.
Cool. So, before we continue on with this discussion, I hear, Jace, you did something idiotic this week.
Okay. So I've got a dog who's got like an ear infection, and I don't know if you guys have ever had to give meds to dogs for like an ear infection or whatever, but it's got to go in like one of those syringe things. Yeah. And anyway, it is very cold down here. Like, you know, single digits during the day.
Did you have to put it in its anus?
And this medicine...
Oh. I was thinking like whole things are shrinking, like, oh no.
So,
oh no.
You mean one of the syringes that doesn't have a point, right? Like it just squirts it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So a syringe is actually just the plunger in that.
Yeah.
It's the needle on the end of the syringe. Anyway. So it's just a syringe to just like squirt it in his ear.
Like a kid's Panadol thing.
But the stuff...
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the liquid had become super like viscous. It was like fucking honey trying to get it out because it's so cold here. And so we were coming up with techniques to get it into the syringe without like fucking spilling it everywhere, because there's only 20 mils in it. We've got to give him exactly 20 mils. So I'm like loading the syringe from the rear, and like I've got my finger over the tip and I'm like trying to balance it so it doesn't spill out. I've got the plunger in, I'm starting to load it up, and I take my finger off. It's all good. I'm like, yes. And the liquid starts to go down to the bottom of the plunger. I'm like, all right, now just slowly move it up. And it snagged a little bit, and I'm like, this is okay. And just slowly move it a bit more. And it goes bang, and just sprayed all over the roof. I just got fucking dog ear medicine just sprayed all over our roof. And to make it a little bit better, we don't own a stepladder, so there's still dog ear medicine all over our roof.
So my
Why
question
do you use
is,
a fucking chair? Like,
yeah, a chair would work for that.
I'd also like
he just realizes now that he could have used anything else. He's like, nope, don't have a ladder, can't get that off the roof. That's better than the original story.
That's exactly how I think.
Ladders make for tallness. No ladder, no reachy.
Motherfucker's walking around with stilts next. He's like, well, the next best thing is stilts, I guess. Goes to the ladder shop. He's like, do you guys sell stilts? I know you guys have ladders, but I came up with a better idea. Stilts. It's multi-purpose because I can also use them as stilts and as a ladder. Do you guys have any stilts?
No.
Jace, I have
thinking
literally
about
painted
multi-purpose
houses
anything.
using milk crates, and you're there like, can't reach.
I don't have a milk crate.
You guys find something,
They're
anything
outside
you can
of
stand
town,
on.
so I will give him that he probably couldn't get things that are normal to us, but...
Outside of town, it is 2.5 hours to Woolworths.
That's insane.
We're a little bit
Get
beyond
Woolworths delivery
outside
and
of
then use the
town.
crates that come in the Woolworths delivery to stack up.
Yeah, so Woolworths
I'm
will
not
not
surprised.
deliver to us.
Yeah,
That's
that
how
makes
far
sense.
out
That
we
makes
are.
sense. I wouldn't deliver to you.
Okay, so
No, I wouldn't either.
Quick-
Amazon are the only people who do. Thank you, Jeff.
Order 2
I
milk
just wanna
crates from
check,
Amazon.
by the
Or
way.
order a fucking ladder. What am I saying? Order a ladder from Amazon.
No, I'm ordering 80 milk crates.
They double as furniture, so that's a bonus.
going back to this dog medicine, could you not heat it up like you do like snake food? Ziploc bag and then put it in
Yeah,
some
because
warm
putting
water.
boiling fucking liquid inside of a dog's ear is going to go great.
I didn't say boil it, you freak. I literally said warm water.
Yeah, like, we probably could, but, like, I'm not a person who forward thinks.
Forward think?
Forward think to... Yes, forward thinking is actually a thing.
All thinking would be forward.
Not necessarily. You can think backwards.
Yeah, that's called remembering.
This gets better and better.
I like that. So, this actually takes me to another whole tangent. So I have a weird way of describing things when I can't remember words. So thinking backwards is actually not too strange for me. So
When you can't remember a word, you think backwards.
yeah, no. So when I can't remember a word, I replace it with something that is like whatever pops in my head. And so you know a linen closet. We all know what a linen closet is, right?
Yes.
I
Some
forgot
people
what it was
call it a linen
called.
press, which is weird because I don't understand that. But anyway, moving on.
I forgot what it was called one day, and I called it the clothes pantry. And it is
Clothes
forever.
pantry.
Not bad.
Yep.
So
Yeah, but you don't put
And-
clothes in it. I don't put clothes in my linen closet.
No, neither do I. But I'm like, it's clothing-ish, and it's like a pantry.
I guess it's cloth.
Yeah,
Of some
well,
sort.
It's in the right direction. It's shit you chuck in the fucking washing machine. But in the spur of the moment, I couldn't remember the word, so I said clothes.
So that's
pantry.
actually encouraged when learning another language as opposed to reverting to your original. Because at least you're working within that language.
I am still
So-
learning English. This
I
is
was
true.
gonna say, maybe it's just Jace needs to learn more English.
But it just reminds me of all those funny tweets you see of like foreigners who don't necessarily speak a language coming up. I literally saw one today, and it was I work in a restaurant, and a German man came in, and he couldn't remember how to ask for cutlery, so he asked for the food weapons.
Food weapons? Yes, that's so good.
So good.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
But like
I'm buying
that
new
is
food
way
weapons
more
right now.
encourageable than just diverting to your normal language.
It really backfired when the guy actually stabbed her with a knife. It's like, thank you for food weapon. Now give me money.
Can I
out
have
of
the
till."
food weapon? Everything in the register. Thank you for arming me. All right, Jace's Idiot of the Week gets a definite award because it led to multiple tangents. That's fantastic.
Dude, so
You're welcome.
Good. 5
love
star. Love it.
My snake
thinking
bite's healed.
backwards
Thanks for
forever
asking,
now.
by the way, assholes.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Hope you
don't
bled to
care.
death.
So stupid.
I don't care about
This
when
is
the
really on
fucking medicine
you.
comes off his roof, though, either, so that's fair enough.
Exactly.
Whenever Beck gets a ladder.
A ladder, 2 milk crates, or some stilts. I don't know which one's gonna come first.
Or all three.
I'm gonna
'cause she is
order
pretty
the
short.
fucking most ghetto stilts. You remember those stilts you used to walk on at like kindergarten with like they were just cups with strings?
Yeah, the ones that the guy in South Park, Romper Stomper, I think they called him. He was in the like juvenile prison with Cartman, and he walked around on them all the time. Fucking fantastic episode.
I want to see.
Anyway.
I want to see 3 ideas for makeshift stilts from you. That's what I want to see.
You're not saying any of that.
Come on, get creative.
Nope. Stilts are on you, mate. I need makeshift ladders.
I'm gonna post you some makeshift stilts. I wonder how much that'll cost
Okay.
to Tasmania.
All right, so
About to find out.
speaking of things that are and aren't allowed, I guess, as GMs, what you would allow, and is there something within the realm of a player wants to do something where you would just, it's too far, it's too ridiculous, you actually do think there's no thing you can do other than just say, no.
I hate when people want to split the party, so I often try and avoid that happening too often. Because I've had it where people will split the party to the point where they're literally playing different games. And you're like, okay, what are we doing over here? Okay, what are we doing? That is frustrating to me. So the less you can split a party up, the better. But I wouldn't say no particularly. As long as I knew how far they were going with the split. Like, I'm not having one guy travel to another town and actually, like, roleplay being in another town while the other guys are in a different town. That's just too far. But if, say, they're in some downtime and he wants to go to the next town over and do whatever, I'll let him do that. But I'm not going to carry out, like, a whole side thing, like, while the other players at the table are sitting there watching them do nothing. Like, you know, like, that's where it kind of gets a bit like, we can do it, I guess, and maybe we could do this as a side thing. I've done this before where I've pulled players out later on, like entirely separate from the game we're currently doing. I'm like, yep, sweet. We're going to come back to that. You're going to do that thing, but we're not doing it right now because I don't want 5 players being bored while you have the best time of your fucking life. Let's get online like tonight, later on, or tomorrow, and we'll.
I don't mind
roleplay out
that.
this
That
shit.
sounds cool. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you've watched, what's the Critical Role animation? Vox Machina. There are a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah, like
times
when
where
they
there's a
leave the
single player
room
off on
and-
their own, so you assume that's being done separate from everybody else or something like that.
Yeah,
And-
that's right. We've had moments like that, and you know, or maybe some people haven't been available, and it's worked out really well that we've just got this little thing happening. That's fine. But yeah, that's probably like one of the only things. And then also, if like I know that other players on the table aren't comfortable with something, that's just an obvious one. That's a session 0 rule, really. You know, you've
Yeah.
got your rules to run by. If the table's not comfortable with it, then I'm not gonna let it happen, no matter what.
So
I'm just
one thing
gonna
that
shut
got cut
shit
from
down.
our D&D campaign was that time that Jace said, well, it didn't get cut. He said, I'm going to rail the missus, but then we all sat around awkwardly while he made noises and Justin made noises back at him. And, we had Jace cut that from the editing of the episode for you guys. That probably should have...
It was awkward.
That will be in the director's cut versions that will be on Patreon for everyone that pays $8 billion a month.
Totally.
Thank you.
Totally.
I'd roleplay that for money. Like, straight
$8
up.
billion, yeah, I'd do anything.
Fuck, for a 20, I'd do it.
Different levels of standards there, but I guess I own a ladder, so.
Do you have
Yeah, well,
do you have any outright no's, Jace, as a GM?
so my only thing would be sort of going back to that session 0 thing. I would let people give anything a red hot go, but if people start doing shit like they start to bring up, sexual assault, shit like that, shit that I'm not comfortable being in a campaign or session that I'm running, that's where I'm like, "Vuh." But in the realms of, I want the king's crown and all that sort of shit, I'm going to let that fucking fly as long as I can sort of play around it. As far as like splitting parties and stuff like Justin mentioned, I would probably go a route that I've seen Justin do a few times where he sort of creates a scenario that will sort of bring people back together rather than saying, no, you guys can't split up. When we split, he gives us reason or purpose to reconvene.
Yeah.
Rather
you're always
than...
going to want to try and bring it back together. You got to bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or let them indulge in
so-
a little side thing later. But yeah, and just say, okay, that happened, and now we move on, and then do it later. Like, yeah. Because people like having their moments, but I'm not letting them have their moment in front of 5 other people that is doing nothing. It's just boring as shit. Like...
Yeah, unless it's something like the fucking say cheese or
Like,
fucking what was the other one?
Adventure into a shop for
Koji-
10, 20 minutes is
That's
fine.
great.
That's not
Yeah.
really splitting the
No,
party. And also,
no.
we did have conversation out the front of the shop. So, like, it's not
That's
like...
right. There was a little bit of banter and stuff, and you guys could have come in at any time as well. Like, it was totally open. It wasn't.
We
like
didn't
it
want
was
to.
only
It
our
was a
thing.
good...
Hey,
It was fun to
goddamn.
witness. Like...
Snacks is lacto-free, homie. He's out of there.
Wonder if they
Cliche
had some
probably would have
lactose-free
fallen over
selection.
on some cheese on the way in the door like a fucking banana peel. So it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Straight
Roll a
into
fucking
Kevin's
deck
arms.
save for walking through the door.
Yeah.
That's what you should do when we bring it back. Just make Brady roll deck saves every 10 to 15 minutes.
I think that's fair. It really is.
Bent down to smell a flower. Oof. Strength roll.
Front flip onto flower, squashes flower, breaks spine.
Outright no's on my end. I don't think I've got many. It would just be stuff that's like OP stuff I'm pretty against. And then anything else that makes people uncomfortable, but hopefully you can stop that. I will say one shots are probably a slight difference, but if you can try and find creative fun ways. So like in a one shot, you're not going to have as many branches and world exploring as in a campaign. So like, for example, in the Isekai where I put you guys in that room, I knew for sure you were going to try and get out. For sure. So I was like, all right, I need something. So we did the Matrix endless hallway thing, right? That was fun.
A lot of fun.
I
That
enjoyed
was
coming
cool.
up with that, and you guys played with it, throwing shit down it and stuff. Like, it was really cool. That might be a slight difference. That's not a direct no. It's obviously a no because you can't get out of it, but it's a more fun no.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think when
Exactly.
you're talking one shots, you've got a destination to get to and a time frame to get there as well. So you've kind of got to get it done. So yeah, it's going to be railroady a little bit, but that's not saying no to things. It's just saying less of a yes. So it's not just it's not ever no, but it's like
Justin,
yes,
you're not
but the
allowed to
realm
do
of
those,
possibilities is not great.
Those educational talks where they're like, this means
No, it's
this.
no. It always
He's like,
means
it's
yes.
not no. It's just not yes. You're like, fuck, Justin.
Justin's banned from any talk about consent. Yeah, no.
Never know. It's the yes end.
Oh, fuck me. We've been fucking cancelled because Justin's a moron.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, fuck it.
I swear, every time he opens his mouth, it's just a chance for us to get shut down.
I'm
It's just him
trying.
rolling
I
a
really am
D100.
trying, like, you know.
Are you though?
Nah, it just comes real naturally. It's really, really quite bad. Yeah.
But speaking of getting shut down, we should probably mention that people can like, sub, do all the fun things on YouTube, They should follow all our socials before the police raid us because Justin's such a fucking creep.
Yeah. I got
Yeah,
on a jacket
I'm
today.
sure-
It's almost a trench coat. It's almost the length of a trench
Yeah,
coat.
yeah.
So, you know.
I'm sure that you had to shuffle, 30 khaki trench coats to the side to
I had to
get
get
to that.
past my sweaters to get to this. Thank you. My comfortable
Whatever,
sweater.
Yeah,
like-
but
Bot that cops use, like Crime Stoppers use to search the internet for phrases, is just constant when our episodes get published of just this guy and this guy and this guy and
Yeah, but it pings and then they're just like, oh no, it's just that nerd who has that like weird nerd cave thing. It's fine. He's just a weirdo.
and then they look
They
up
don't know.
Why don't you
proximity
just
to a
fucking
school.
say
We
his
should.
address next, bro.
They quickly look up how close is this guy to a school, just so we know.
Oh shit!
Yeah, okay. There's the address right there. They've got the town, the address.
I'll
Congrats.
bleep it. It's fine. All right. Yeah. Jace did the thing, so all of you guys should do what he said, and not be
Yeah.
shitty GMs that say no.
Yeah, say yes to subscribing, liking, and following us on socials and joining our Patreon and all the other things.
That was good. Well done.
That was good. You saved it.
That's a good plug.
That was good. Stop in
Yeah.
3, 2, 1 ish.
Oh, hell. I don't even have my shit open.